Howdy y'all, it's JR here with another video from the Gameingverse, and today we are reviewing Jurassic World Evolution 2. I'm very excited about this review, so let's get started.
Jurassic World. This is where our story begins. A scientific breakthrough without any consideration of the consequences. So nature did what it does and unleashed chaos. This time we were deeper into the illusion of control, and the chaos brought something much worse. And for a moment, we remembered how precious life is. But time has a funny way of softening our memory of what it's like to lose control. And ambition. Ambition is a persistent thing. For the dinosaurs left behind, time was becoming immaterial. From miracles of science to assets destined for exploitation. Perhaps it's time we reflect on the true nature of nature. An endless cycle with one goal: survival. And this means that dinosaurs and humanity will have to find a way to work out their differences.
Howdy y'all, this is our first video of 2022. Now we took a little break at the end of the last year, but I'm working on some new content for you this year. I'm hoping to keep a reasonably consistent schedule of all the content in this Gameingverse. Now let's get into our first review. Jurassic World Evolution 2 was released late November 2021. I've been playing since its release. I was a fan of Jurassic World Evolution, the original, and I played that over 200 hours on console. Jurassic World Evolution 2, I'm playing on PC. Jurassic World Evolution, I think, is a great upgrade and a continuation of the original. I like that it continues with what the original was. The development team did a really awesome job of listening to the player base and added some of those features that the player base was asking from Jurassic World Evolution. Many of the new features were requested by the community, like the greater control over the look of the park with the modules on the restaurants and the toy stores and all that kind of stuff. So the ability to change the way the park looks was one of those big things that a lot of players wanted in Jurassic in the next evolution of Jurassic World Evolution. Unlike other Paradox titles, Planet Zoo or Planet Coaster, Jurassic World Evolution 2 is more of a management game than a building game. So you do have some ability to change things around, but it's more focused on the management of the park. It gives the players the ability to modify some of the building aesthetics in the park, as well as some of the decorative pieces to work with, but it does not have the building functionality of the other two titles I mentioned, of Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster. It just doesn't have the, build a beautiful, toy store or something like that in the park. The toy store is built for you, but you can, make some changes to it. So don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about that. And that's not me complaining, it's just the difference between those titles. I just love the fact that Jurassic World Evolution genre is more focused on management, because that's what I like. I like the management aspect of things. And you can still create a great looking park, but within the confines of that mechanic, of the management mechanic. So I like that ability. And that's how I play Planet Zoo, and that's how I play Planet Coaster, is to stay within the management mechanic, and not, I don't use a lot of sandbox. Now, the camping mode, however, was lacking a little gameplay. It was really short for me anyway. I just think there was not a lot of camping mode, of a story mode there. But I really do think there's a bigger story to be told with all the dinosaurs outliving in North America, that kind of stuff. And I'm hoping that the reason why the campaign mode is so thin is because they're waiting for the release of Jurassic World Dominion in June, and maybe that'll beef up the campaign mode. So I'm hoping that's the reason for they're not having a huge campaign mode. Now, it does come with a new mode, which they call Chaos Theory, and this new mode helps you imagine what it would be like if the original parks, like Jurassic Park and Jurassic World and the San Diego Park, were actually successful. In other words, it gives you an opportunity to change the history of those parks and make them successful. That's the task that they give you, is to succeed where the parks failed, and so it kind of gives you that opportunity. Each mode is set in one of the original parks and guides you into making each park a successful attraction. It's very similar in progression to the campaign mode of the Jurassic Park Evolution, where you had to successfully take a park in each island and turn it into a successful attraction before you could move on. So now here are the 5 parks that you would be doing in Chaos Theory. I want you to hear the introduction of that Chaos Theory before we move on.
The mosquito, frozen in time for millions of years and trapped within it. Well, that discovery would change our world. For a while, we thought that this was as close as we could get to dinosaurs. Turns out, we were wrong. Years of research into how to complete the DNA sequence for a dinosaur led us to this. Life unlike anything seen on this planet for 65 million years. Jurassic Park. We know how well that went, but what if someone like you had been there to temper some of that rampant hubris? For Jurassic Park to succeed, you're going to need to make sure it's safe for all your guests. This is the adventure of their lifetime. We don't want it to be their last.
See, I really did enjoy that, the ability to change the outcome of the original parks and the original islands. Now, finally, the last mode is the sandbox mode. Now, I don't play a lot of sandbox mode just because I like the challenge of a campaign or a story mode or a challenge mode or Chaos Theory in this case. But the sandbox mode allows the player to turn off much of those management systems that I enjoy, but it still keeps the player within some constraints, in the sense that the player must stay creative within the creation of their park, but not necessarily individual buildings and habitats. And that's something that we were talking about, is that like in Planet Zoo, you can create individual habitats with its buildings and be very creative in that sense, but not in Jurassic World Evolution 2. Here, the buildings are already set. You just have some changes that you can do to the buildings and some decorative items that they've given you in order to add to the aesthetic of the park or the habitats themselves. I see Jurassic World Evolution more like a 30,000 foot view of a park in management rather than each individual wall panel like you would in a Planet Zoo or a Planet Coaster. That's kind of where I put this genre. It's a management strategy game, building game, but it's not down on the floor building game. It's kind of more an overall building game. Now, I'm not much of a sandbox builder. I love to build my parks within the confines of that management system. That's why I love this Jurassic World Evolution. And I'm not really good with the creativity in sandbox. Now, I tend to forego the efficiency for beauty. So even in the management side, I tend to do more of become less efficient, to win the campaign, and more to create a beautiful park. That's how I work. For me, it's not just about receiving the 5 stars to move on, but to create a beautifully crafted park while achieving that goal. So to me, it's a double goal. Now, there's people that want to do it within 3 hours or within an hour. That's not me. I take my time and develop a park that I really enjoy. Now, overall, I highly recommend spending the money on Jurassic World Evolution 2. I do think it's worth the money that you pay for, including the first DLC that came out, which was the Cretaceous period. I think it's a wonderful DLC. It's a great improvement over the prior version, and with the development team it can only get better over time. So I really do see the DLCs and everything that's coming to make it better. Whether a sandbox builder or a dinosaur enthusiast or a management addict, Jurassic World Evolution 2 has something for everyone. And so I do think that you will enjoy this genre and this particular game if you fit within any one of those confines. Now, what do you think, Chilito?
Well, JR, I think that Jurassic World Evolution 2 has a lot to say about what a management style game should be. So, JR, I'm going to rank them in the way that I always rank all video games. So we're going to start with gameplay. Gameplay is very important, and in this particular case, I think the gameplay for Jurassic World Evolution deserves 9 chiles. 9 chiles is the highest I've ever given in gameplay, and I think this was a great choice. As far as graphics are concerned, there's no doubt about it. The JW2 graphics are top-notch, so I'm giving it 9 chiles. There's, a little twerks with the animations, but they are absolutely top-notch. The story, the campaign itself, unfortunately, I have to give it 8 chiles. It's a great campaign. I like the story mode. It's going on with the animals being in North America, but it's thin, and we need more of a story mode. The new features, however, are great. Adding the chaos theory to that, adding the ability to modularly change the buildings, that was a wonderful thing that the crew did, the developers did, so I'm going to give them 9 chiles for that. So, overall, I think Jurassic World Evolution 2 deserves 9 chiles. It is a great, big habanero chile that people should enjoy, and it's hot, and it melts your mouth. So that's our take here, JR, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.
So there you have it, folks. Chilito has spoken. He has given it 9 chiles overall, a big habanero for Jurassic World Evolution 2. And I'm really happy that he really does see this as a great game. So, folks, thank you again for watching this. Please don't forget to like this video. It helps us with the algorithm. And if you really enjoy what we're doing, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to know when we upload new reviews, click that notify button. We'll see you on the next one. Adios.